This is Marketing Jam, a podcast featuring the brightest minds in Canadian marketing.
Starting off, why don't you tell us your name and I guess what organization you're with, or what, or kind of your thing.
Yeah. My name's AmberMac, and I have my own company called AmberMac Media, and we do a bunch of different things, mostly video production, some social media management, and all the other fun stuff I do, like speaking and influencer work.
Cool. So what I always want to know, with someone in your position especially, what are your favorite apps these days, and what apps are you mostly spending time on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have a bunch of different apps that I use on a regular basis. I feel like I need to pull my phone out at this
totally
point.
Can.
Is that
yeah,
okay?
Yeah. It's part of you, right?
Okay, it's part of me.
Yeah.
So let's just see right here. So Slack, probably my number one.
And who do you Slack with?
I Slack with people who work for me in my company, so we use Slack together all the time.
Nice.
Agora Pulse is what I use for social media management, which is kind of a newish
I haven't heard of that one, yeah.
Yeah, they have great analytics, so I'm a big fan of them. I have so many different apps here. Boomerang, probably not enough. I have kids
Clash
apps.
Royale.
I have Clash Royale.
Hello.
That's for my son, so an episode, that's for my son as well, if you've ever seen that. Family Link is a fun one, so if you have Android devices in the family, this lets you monitor and approve downloads of apps on other kids' phones. So that's kind of a good one. Legend is one of my favorites. This lets you make social media animations from your text, so if you just have some text you want to add, you can make social media little animated graphics. And Snapseed, that's another good one. And PicMonkey, that's another one too. PicMonkey for editing photos. That was 6, I think.
No, that's great. That's awesome. So we were talking earlier, but asking if you've ever met Sunny Lenarduzzi, who is our West Coast equivalent of you, as we were figuring out. So,
I know.
And why do you think that is, that why you and Sunny have been doing so well in kind of the work that you guys do?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think there are not necessarily many women in the tech space who are creating content and covering technology, so I think it's a nice little niche that we have. A lot of women who come into the content space, maybe they want to do different things, and technology doesn't seem to be the most popular of those items. Maybe fashion blogging does, or beauty blogging. So I think we've been able to carve out this really nice niche.
That's awesome.
As long as she never moves to Toronto. Sunny, this is my territory.
That's great. Well, one day you will meet. That would be awesome.
It's true. We should swap. I should go out to Vancouver and make some contacts.
Yeah. Have you been to Vancouver before?
Many times,
and
yes.
your favorite things to do there, or what were you doing when you were there?
So mostly eating sushi.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite thing.
Okay.
I know I should say outdoorsy things, but mostly eating sushi.
Awesome. Were you there for events?
Yeah, I was just there a few weeks ago for a speaking event. So I go out for a lot of speaking events. I'm back in May for another speaking event, so I'll be eating more sushi in May.
Yeah.
And so I get there pretty regularly.
Okay. Awesome. So we're in 2018, and you've been interviewing a lot of the folks as well. You've walked the floor, you've seen the stuff, and your finger is on the pulse of what's happening for marketing and tech better than anyone, I think, in this country.
I hope so.
What do you think, looking into your kind of crystal ball for the rest of the year, what do you think is coming down the pipeline? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. I think there's a couple of areas where there's a lot of really cool innovation. I think for starters, everybody's trying to figure out how to incorporate artificial intelligence into their businesses, not necessarily even if they have a tech business or not, but just to improve their business efficiency, so allow them to be more efficient with what they're currently doing. I think that's a big one. I think people are also realizing that they can't stick too closely with any of their plans because we live in such a disruptive economy. I think this is especially true for some of the retail businesses that are here, is that they know that it's great that they have this plan for the next 12 to 18 months, but they have to be nimble and be able to adapt and change. So I think those two are the big ones.
Okay. Question for you, why do you think collecting mobile numbers, so SMS or text marketing, has never really taken off, and you don't see a lot of folks doing that?
That's a great question. I mean, I think for a lot of people, that's the one piece of digital information that actually allows us to protect our privacy a little bit, is our actual phone number. So I think a lot of people are just somewhat resistant to giving that information over to marketers. But I think we're inching our way towards there, especially with bots. We're seeing more and more bots in the messenger world, so whether it's on Facebook Messenger or elsewhere. So I think we're getting more comfortable, and maybe it's just a matter of time.
Okay. What are some brands that we should be watching this year that are doing some really cool stuff or innovative stuff?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few brands out there that are doing pretty cool things. I work with a lot of the big brands, so full disclosure, I may be mentioning people that I currently work with, but I do a lot of work with Google in Canada, and they've done a great job, I think, with influencers in terms of reaching out and getting product into the hands of influencers.
The Google Pixels, the homes.
Yeah, and I just love the way that they do it. They do it in a way where it's not like, hey, we're sending you this for 3 days and we expect you to review it. It's just much more organic. organic than that. They understand that once people have product, then they're going to start using it, probably post about it. There's some paid, some unpaid. So I think they really understand the future of influencer marketing, which is really great in this country. I've done lots of work with GE as well, who are also here at DX3, and we've been doing some Facebook Lives and big giveaways on Facebook.
And that's General Electric.
Yes, yeah. So that's another sweet spot for me is the Facebook Live platform as a place to be able to build brands and engage audiences. So I think more and more brands are going that direction.
Yeah. And they were made famous. What was the show with Alec Baldwin?
I don't know.
Where he was working for GE.
Oh,
30 Rock?
yeah,
30 Rock.
Yeah,
30 Rock. They were often talking about GE.
Yeah. No, you're right. I never really thought of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like the new Alec Baldwin.
Yes, the new Alec Baldwin.
And so
no one's ever said that before.
Other brands that we should keep an eye out or that you've seen do something cool this year?
I think we can also look at some of the startups that are even here at DX3 that are just little startups. There's one called Jiffy that creates software for restaurant owners to help to further educate the people at the front line about the products they're selling, like craft beer.
Nice.
And they are cute. Like they have some good social media instincts. So the nice thing about some of these technology startups is that they can really capitalize on social media. They're jumping on Instagram and they're going, full throttle on Instagram, recognizing that that's their sort of millennial sweet spot. So I think the startups deserve lots of recognition for being creative.
That's awesome. And they're nimble and small enough.
Absolutely. They
can still do
don't
cool
need,
stuff.
permissions and months of lead time before they post something.
Yeah. Question for you. You're in the shoes that you're in now, and those are awesome shoes, by the way. If you want to lift it up for people to see, these are really cool.
Those are good shoes.
Where are these shoes from? Nine West.
They're Nine West, believe it or not, but they're platform sneakers.
Okay.
This is very sexy, don't you think? It's nice to see you.
So the shoes you're in now, how would someone get to be in the place that you're in now? Any advice that you give to someone listening to this, watching this?
I think that if you wanted to do anything like I'm doing as far as being someone who hopefully is a bit of a thought leader in this space, I would say that it's really about building connections and recognizing the opportunity for connections everywhere. Like, I could have no work done for the end of the day and I will sit for 3 hours on Twitter, like liking things that people have posted and connecting and DMing with people.
Wow.
Just because I just thrive on that, just building connections.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably one of the most important things.
What do you say on there? What are you saying? You saying
just like or follow people or DM or like ask for
them?
favors. I may ask them if I can interview them or just start a conversation, whatever
on
it
Twitter.
might be. Yeah, on
and
Twitter.
favors.
Yeah,
what kind of
I'm
favors?
like a Twitter stalker. You think I'm actually a Twitter stalker? You said you were a stalker.
I'm a LinkedIn stalker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so old school.
I know. So, okay, here's the thing. I would sound like the guy from Nigeria that's like, hey, I have this inheritance from Nigeria, and I'd send these like cold emails using InMail, and occasionally people would respond. But you're saying, do people respond pretty well on Twitter then? DMs?
Yeah, they do.
Really?
I find they do. I think that it's also just an easy thing to do when you get a DM
versus
to write
LinkedIn.
a DM. I've made lots of friends on Twitter just by sending across DMs.
Really?
I know, it's weird.
And the favors are, can I interview you?
Yeah, can I interview you? Or, hey, I just like your work. Or, just a quick little comment, whatever it might be. Maybe I'm asking them for another favor. I don't know, or maybe we're just having a conversation. But I think it's a good way to get into those private channels just to start to communicate with people. And some people are scared to do that. I always tell people, I'm like, listen, if you email me, I'm probably not going to answer you because I have hundreds of emails in my inbox at any given time. I'm not complaining about that. It's a good problem. But if you DM me on Instagram, I may reply immediately because I get like 2 DMs a day.
Okay, interesting.
Right? Now more, thanks to you.
There you go. So when you are working with brands, so Instagram Live versus Facebook Live, what would you
Always
say?
Facebook for me. Not because I don't like Instagram Live, but I just don't think that they've built out that platform enough yet. I think it's still a little bit nascent, like little immature in some ways, because you really are only able to do it on your phone, whereas on Facebook you can be a little more comprehensive about having a multi-camera approach. You have a great comment system, you have great boosting abilities, so Facebook for me all the way.
Okay. And books, magazines, or blogs that you follow and read and consume that you would recommend to?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. For me, I think in the blogging world, there's a few different services that I go to. Quartz is one, so just qz.com, which is a great blog for technology news and just news in general. So that's probably a big one. Recode, as far as what's happening in tech, that's also a big one. Marketing Dive is really good for marketing. That's one of my favorite places to go.
Nice.
So those 3 are goodies.
Okay, and what about AmberMac.com? Is that
You could go there too. I don't publish that frequently, but
Okay.
maybe once or twice a week I have new content, and then
Okay.
on my social channels, of course.
And your e-newsletter?
Yes, my newsletter.
I'm a subscriber.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
good. I have subscribers. It's
Okay.
good. At least one.
That's good.
No, it's good. So every Tuesday we've been putting out the newsletter, and it's been growing really nicely over the past couple of years. So that's actually almost like a great exercise for me to stay up to date on everything that's happening, because I'm forced into writing 10 solid little synopsis of the coolest stuff that's happening. So it's like going to school for a day while I prep it. So it's fun.
Cool. And podcasts? Any podcasts that you listen to?
Yeah, so there's a few. I listen to On the Media from NPR, which is all about the future of media, which is really good for anyone.
That's awesome.
I'm doing some work to help promote the AI Effect, which is a new podcast with Amanda Lang. So that's all about artificial intelligence. So those two are definitely good podcasts. Penn Teller, I listen to him a lot too. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And so lots of podcasts.
That's awesome. And when you travel the country, and you get to speak at a lot of events, and you're
Yes.
seeing a lot of things, where are you seeing kind of maybe cities that are kind of percolating some really awesome stuff? Or
Well, you know what? It's funny that you say that, because I think it's such a special time that we're in right now, is that it doesn't matter if you're in like Bathurst, New Brunswick, or Nelson, British Columbia.
Yeah.
I think there's a possibility that you could find a cool little startup anywhere. So I feel as though there aren't necessarily those hot cities anymore. I am from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
Cool.
So I will say the tech scene there is pretty hot.
Yeah.
We have an amazing startup zone. They have like a dozen or more startups in there at any time, like a little incubator, and people who are visiting the city can come and work in there.
Yeah.
So it's cool. But we're seeing that all across the country.
And what does 2018 look like for AmberMac? Like, where are you spending your time speaking on the road? Is it your YouTube channel? Is it your Instagram? Or where are you?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's a bit of everything. So I host, I speak, I write, I do Facebook Lives, and just really runs the gamut. And I mean, I think that's not for everyone. People like to be very focused. For me, I like multiple streams of revenue. So I'm very focused on, okay, hey, we have this business here, this business.
Yeah.
Some people just speak, and they love just speaking. But I would go crazy because I would lose my expertise on the topic.
Yeah.
So I'd like to be in there creating and doing constantly, and that's just my personality. Not for everyone though, because I have a lot of bags under this makeup.
Okay.
Yes.
And when we're at DX3 right now, and you go to a lot of conferences, what would be your best advice for people coming to DX3 or conferences like this?
Well, I think the most important thing at DX3 is, well, first of all, across the country, I mean, I think this is the place to go when it comes to marketing and understanding what's happening with the future of digital. And I think come here with a goal in mind, and that goal may be to meet, 10 new people who could be great prospects for your business. So not just come and wander around and say hi to the friends you already know. Meet people who you don't know, and stalk them in person.
Okay,
I
like
feel like
us.
you'd be good at that.
We just met in person, finally.
Yeah, I feel like we're besties now.
Obviously. Other advice that you give someone who is maybe getting into the scene now? They're just entering into tech. They're realizing like, hey, there's this whole new world. They've been in retail a long time.
Sure.
What are the 3 most important things they should be doing? Like
Yeah.
if they have limited amount of energy and time, they have kids or they've got a business to run. So,
Sure. Yeah. So you mean specifically for them to just grow their business on digital? I would say that probably put in more time than you think you're going to put in, even if you're really busy. I mean, I think that's there's a misconception that you can post a couple times a week and you'll be fine, but that's not the case. You're you need to get in the weeds. Commenting, liking other things that people are posting. So that's the most important. Is get into those those private channels. The conversations that are happening in DMs, and I mean, even Mark Zuckerberg recently has talked about the fact that people are more depressed if they're just passively consuming social media content, but the active engagement is really good for us. So that means instead of just sitting and scrolling people's stories, if you really think something's cool or you like it, send them a message, say, hey, that was awesome, or you look great, or have a great day. I mean, why are we afraid to do that? And yet we feel like we've become these passive animals in this space. But I'm trying really hard now when I see something that I think is great, or someone, a nice photo, to actually say something. Take the time to say something, and do the same thing I would do in person. And that has changed my relationship with social instead of just consuming all this content.
Okay, that's really.
It was kind of deep right there.
That was great.
I know, it was deep though.
Okay.
Might have scared people.
So, conferences that are coming on the scene this year, what are conferences that other people should go to? What are the ones that you recommend?
That's a great question. So, I mean, every year pretty much I get to South by Southwest. Obviously, if it's too late in the year and people are seeing this, that has already taken place. I think that's a big one. If you're in television, the Banff New Media Festival is a great one. Or I guess it's just Banff Festival, but they have a new media component, and that's in June in Banff. That's another big one. You know what, let's be honest, there's conferences like every single week. I mean, there's no shortage of conferences to go to. So, but I think it's important for people to get out there and make those face-to-face connections with people.
Okay. Now, it's International Women's Day here, so we're probably not going to be posting this today, but any special message to specifically women who are in tech and in the industry? Any words of encouragement or...
Yeah, I think it's probably really important, especially in 2018, for women who are in the technology space, to basically ask for what they deserve. That goes towards conversations around pay, and don't necessarily compare yourself to other people, but what you believe that you deserve. I would say, stop apologizing when you're in meetings if you're doing certain things or have to go get your kids. Who cares? We all have to do it, men and women. Like, let's just move way past that. We have responsibilities. You're human. So stop apologizing for doing things that are just human. And I think the third thing is to support other women and to bring other women into your circle if you can do that and not be afraid. I mean, I kind of beat up on Sunny earlier and said, don't come to Toronto. But the truth is, if she wants to come and stay at my house and hang out with me, I would be honored and honored to do that.
The invitation's out there.
It's there.
Yeah, you've heard it, Sunny.
It's there.
Yeah.
You should come.
It's awesome.
Sunny and AmberMac, that could be a good show.
I know, it kind of like fits together.
It does.
Yeah.
And I even put her name first because that's how gracious I am.
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you being here on the Marketing Jam show here at DX3. It was a special kind of collaboration that we've done for this exciting conference. I know that you are recording folks as well and able to get some great information and ideas.
So much going on, so it's fun.
Have you had a favorite interview so far? Are you allowed to say that?
We had an interview with Juniper Research.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Juniper Insurance, my bad. And the founder is quite the character.
Okay, I would say our biggest surprise of the 2 days has been Juniper. It blew me away.
Yeah, he was great.
Would you say, and I think a year from now or 2 years from now, he'd be the Airbnb or the Uber of the life insurance?
He might be.
Yeah, he could be.
Yeah, he definitely had some spunk to him.
Did he wear a toque during
He wore
your interview?
a toque.
Yeah.
He talked about crack.
Yeah. I didn't get that.
He swore.
Okay. Wow. He was quite...
But life insurance is nothing to mess around with, so you want someone like that. He's like serious.
Yeah.
And not serious at the same time.
Anything else you want to leave listeners and viewers with?
I just want to say that you may cut this, but Duncan at DX3 is a handsome, awesome man.
Yeah, with a great accent.
With a great accent, and he does a great job at this event, and he's so humble.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
That's awesome. Thanks for being on here. We love you, Duncan.